Happy 2022, you wonderful listeners. Today on Sage as a Treat, this is our New Year's special where we look at some of the highs and lows of 2021. We have a set criteria of questions to answer that we would also like you to answer down in the comments. You know where we are by now, so let's dispense with the pleasantries and get on with the show. So, first question, this one's to Lee. It's the best.
It's Lee. How are you?
Yeah.
I'm all right, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I know. We don't need those pleasantries. Nobody cares.
We do because I need to show you my Christmas present.
Oh, we don't need that.
No, we do. If you're watching the video, you're going to see this.
Right.
But if you're not, it's tough. There's a picture on my Facebook if I've got you on my friends. I'm going to show you. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Nathan.
That's very nice.
That is amazing.
It is.
Look at it. Just look at it. It's beautiful.
I don't know how to put into words to describe it to the podcast listeners.
I'll tell them. It's He-Man and Battle Cat. And you can't have He-Man without Battle Cat, really, because they kind of, it's like jelly and ice cream when you was 10. You had to have both together, didn't you, at a party? Couldn't you have jelly or ice? It's just weird. So Mattel have re-released the figures. Ben, you might be interested in this I don't know if you've seen this, but it's so it's basically the same model, but it has like extra joints. Look, not as in spliffs either. That's just not what I'm going at. So the ankles move, the knee joint moves. Now before the leg was solid and it would never stand up properly, but now you can actually kind of like make him stand up properly. It's so good. The quality of it feels fairly decent, but I will say the weapon quality feels slightly less than it's like they're like more rigid, but the plastic doesn't feel quite as good as I remember back in like 1983 or whatever it was. Also, there's a bit of detailing missing off the axe. My camera's weird, so you won't be able to catch it properly. A bit of detailing missing off the axe, but I'm very, very pleased with it. The best bit of the whole model is, so you take off Battle Cat's helmet, head guard thing, and then if his mouth opens and closes, it's like, "Rawr, He-Man, what's happening today? What's for dinner?" I don't know. That's my very good Battle Cat impression. But yeah, so very, very good. His tail moves around. You can move his feet. This is brilliant. If you can move his feet, and he looks like he's like, "Oh, hello." But yeah, you can. So he can have a more an aggressive sort of stance, and his head moves. So as opposed to just that, you can make him look at you lot. He's looking at you lot. See it? He's looking at you. Rah, Nathan. Anyway, right. Okay, that's my fun. Yeah, I got that for Christmas. Very good. That could be one of the best Christmas presents ever. Yeah. He's got Battle Cat's helmet has got little eyes on it as well, which I don't know. They just look odd. But anyway, I need to get Skeletor to go with it, of course, because you can't have He-Man without Skeletor. What would be the point of He-Man without Skeletor?
Exactly.
It's like Batman and Joker, isn't it? You can't just have one. I mean, you got to have a bit of an enemy, a nemesis, so to speak. But yeah. Let's get
so back on with the show. On again.
That was the best bit.
So we've got the best games of 2021, and we did have some decent games this year. I've picked out a couple. These are not my best games; they're just generic ones. Well, not generic, but some listeners might have liked them.
Some of the bigger releases. I mean, there was quite a few, wasn't there?
Yeah, I know. We haven't got these on our list. I mean, we played two of these quite recently, but not. I know they won't be on his list. But we've got Outriders in April. We had Resident Evil Village in May. Skyward Sword, the HD remake for the Switch, which is one that I gave a wide berth to because I wasn't a fan of that. And Halo Infinite came out most recently in December. Now, with that in mind, there were some big hitters this year. Do you want to tell us about your game of the year, Lee, or some of your games?
Oh, I have a list. You know what I'm like? If you say pick your favourite, I have 5, and then a special mention, and then one of them I sort of like the most. So I won't give you my big games straight away, but some of the games that I've enjoyed playing. Forza Horizon 5. Now, I know you haven't played that one, have you? That's on Game Pass. So myself and my wife, we enjoy Forza. It's fun. It's a good racing game. It's not arcadey, but not realistic. It sits really nicely in the middle. Arcadey racing games are fine if you remember the old Burnout games where you just used to like smash around the corners, and that's fun, but it's also had a little sort of gimmicky side to it. But then the more serious ones, I just can't be arsed with it. playing a serious racing game stresses me out because I'm like, okay, I went too fast, I've crashed, and basically I need to start again. I ain't got time for that. But Forza kind of hits that balance, that nice in between. So we've been enjoying playing Forza Horizon 5. It's not my game of the year because it's too similar to Forza Horizon 4. If you said it's, I don't know, it's like maybe getting a new graphics card and playing an old game and being like, oh, it looks a bit nicer. Yeah, it looks a bit nicer, a bit faster. Yeah, it runs better. But all in all, you could be playing 5 and someone could think you're playing 4.
It does have like them FIFA vibes for me, where it's like
a little bit. Now it's in a new area. Yeah. There's a lot more different content to it and loads more cars. So not quite FIFA, but similar in a same of it's like the new iteration. It's just number 5, and but it is a solid game. I've enjoyed playing the little that we've played of Icarus, which was a new release. It's obviously not a big release, but I've quite enjoyed playing that. I think there's going to be a lot more to it that we'll be finding out about that in the next few months. Of course, my character totally died because I didn't go on for like 7 days, but being at work and sometimes you just forget. I'm actually a little bit disappointed with that. I'm going to say that game-wise, I think that's a bit of a letdown because not everyone has the opportunity to sit down and play games every day. And sometimes not even every week. Sometimes you might think to yourself, yeah, I've got... Icarus is a game where you need to throw a few hours in to kind of get anywhere with it. Having a time limit on a mission of 7 days or 5 days, it's like, oh, so this is meant for people that always get time to play games. I work full time, you work full time, and when you're playing a game, you might sit down and think to yourself, I'm just going to have a go of some game that I can play for half an hour and not think about. As opposed to having to commit to doing missions and specific things. I didn't have time for, or I did, and I just didn't play that game. Also, the thing is with Icarus was the update thing where it would download a 3 meg update but take half an hour to install. I want to be able to put on Steam and then play a game at least within a few minutes because I've got decent internet speed. My PC's not a piece of shit. So if I get a download, I want it to be able to install and play, and it's not been happening for it. And no other game. No, there was one. It might have been DayZ that was having issues with it or something like that. But any other game, you get a download and then it says you can play now, as opposed to download. Let me think about it. I'm doing an install. So for me, that was a bit of a letdown. And it happened to us on several occasions, didn't it? It was, oh, shall we have a quick go? It's like, oh no, we've got an update. We both enjoyed playing Outriders, and we started playing again, didn't we?
Yeah.
Because it came out on Game Pass, and that's been quite fun. We'll play some more of that. It's enjoyable. It's a good game to just jump in, shoot some stuff, get a few new guns, and then you can just put it down, can't you? It's quite fun. New World. I know you're a big fan of New World, but I bought it because it was supposed to be something different, and I have enjoyed it, and I will play more of it, but I got a bit bored because it felt repetitive. Now, if I know there's more content and it will be different, but for me, I think it's too repetitive to enjoy. I want to go in a game and achieve something. I don't want to go in a game and have to. Well, the ridiculousness of having to chop down trees for that ridiculous level that you had to. It literally took a few hours. That's not a game. That's not a game. That's a job. And a game shouldn't be a job. I know. You might be thinking, well, that's what you got yourself into, etc., etc. But I didn't think it would be that like that, and it just pissed me off sometimes. But I will get back in and play because other than the slight grind, I quite enjoyed it actually. Another game I want to mention is Unpacking, which we spoke about, and I know some other people played. It was on Game Pass. It's still quite cheap as well if you wanted to buy it. It wasn't too expensive. So it was a game. It was an isometric game. It's a flat. It's not like a 3D game. It's like perfectly old school flat. Like opening a book and looking at this route like a kid's bedroom, and there was these boxes, and you had to unpack the boxes and put all the items into the room and also in the right place, because you can't put like a book in a sink. Do you know what I mean? So they would go on the shelves, and although it seemed quite simple, it was ridiculously fun, and aesthetically it just drew you in. Nice music, pleasant graphics, unpacking, simple, beautiful game. But there was actually a story to it as well. So it's to do with a young girl who moves house several times. She gets a boyfriend. I think there's like photos that you see that have got like bits scribbled out or ripped up, and it's like there's this tale to tell, and you might totally miss it. But she goes to like university. She comes back home. Then they get their own house. It's very interesting, and I think anyone could enjoy that game. Anyone. It seems a little bit like a mobile game, but it works very well on a PC, or I think you can get it on console as well. Super good game, Unpacking. So the last game I'll mention as a general mention for the games would be Back 4 Blood that came out that we played. That's a great basically Left 4 Dead shooter game that thoroughly I've enjoyed playing, and yet again another game we need to play more of. I'd like to just get to the end of that game and then see if anything else comes out with it. Just a great sort of zombie shooter, run around. If you played Left 4 Dead, you basically played Back 4 Blood. They've just added a few extra bits with the cards and other stuff, haven't they, onto it? So do you want to mention go on to your main favourite game, and then I'll throw mine in after.
Well, a lot of them, because obviously we play a lot of games together, are like sort of shared in enjoyment. Like Back 4 Blood, I've recently they updated it and they let you play without randomers now.
Oh, okay.
So I've been bashing that out. Well, I've had a couple of hours on last few days trying that and getting to grips with it again.
So is that solo or is that with bots?
That's with bots. Like
Left 4
Dead.
All right.
Yeah, they've upped the AI on it, so they actually work now. So you can't stand back and just let them do it, but they do their fair share. They do what you tell them to do as well. So like if you ping like one of them healing boxes on wall, they'll go and actually heal, or they'll pick guns up if it's better than their gun. So there's some decision making algorithm or whatever in their AI. So, and they'll try and diversify. Like if I've got a shotgun, all of them aren't going to have a shotgun. One's going to have a AR or a Magnum or something. To try and diversify. Yeah, they'll also pick gold up for you as well, which is good. Or copper, should I say.
Is it shared, or they're just like, yo, here's some gold?
No, they give it you. So because I've been the only like player, and then I'm with 3 bots, and they've just been giving me all the gold, all the copper. I don't know why I can't.
Okay.
Think so. We need to get back on it and do something.
Yeah, that sounds interesting actually.
But the game of the year, and we didn't say at the beginning. I should have really specified this. This is released this year, or what we played the most of.
Because I mean, some games like we mentioned, like I just like a Minecraft or a Terraria, they get updates, and if there's been a new update and you've thrown yourself into it and you've been like, oh, this is so good, that can still be your game of the year. It doesn't have to be a release. Now, films has to have. Well, we'll get onto that because I've got a bit of a twister on that one. But a game, realistically, it's just something you've enjoyed the most over this year. But go for it.
Mine was Dark Souls 2. Now, this is a game that's been 5-7 years, something like that. And the reason why I picked this as my favourite game of the year was because I know that Lee's going to pick the other one. And this is the one where I've spent the most time, probably, and I've fell in love with the game. Like, I played it when it first came out and I enjoyed it, and it all well and good, and then I forgot about it. And because I'm a massive Dark Souls fan, I enjoy number 3 more. If I were to rank them, it would have been 3, 1, 2. But this, playing it again, I played it back in April and I streamed it, and I got quite a big following just from streaming it, because everyone were getting into watching me progress and challenging bosses and giving me tips and stuff, and it just made me fall in love with the game again, and it's pushed itself up, not to Dark Souls 3 level, but over Dark Souls 1, which is very controversial because not a lot of people in Dark Souls community like Dark Souls 2, but I'm imploring anyone that likes Dark Souls, go back and play number 2. It's a bit clunky, but it's very enjoyable. I like the fact that there's like 100 and something bosses on it. I like the fact that the game is massive.
When did it come out, Dark Souls 2?
I think it was 2015 or 16. I got it for the 360.
You 100% can't have this one as your game of the year. It came out like a decade ago.
Yeah, well, it's because I played it so much this year, and I still want to keep playing it. I need to transfer my character because I got a new PC, and for some reason, it doesn't let you do cloud saves, so I have to physically move it across.
Did you have to back it up? And
it's a
old school PC. That is.
Yeah, that's how old the game is. But they do it with Dark Souls 3 as well. But yeah, just because I were in a bit of a slump with games, and Dark Souls 2 brought me out of that slump because I was streaming it, and I got loads and loads of positive interactions from people, and it got me affiliate on Twitch as well. So that just that one game, because it was like a saga where like people would come back like they were watching a soap opera or something to see what was going on next and what clothes I were wearing or what weapons I were using, and it was I loved it. I loved every minute of it, and I can't think of any other game other than the one that maybe you're going to mention that I've enjoyed as much as that this year. So put us out of his misery, Lee. Tell us what you think the game of the year is. It better be the one I'm thinking of, because
we all know what the game of the year is. The game of the year is Valheim.
Mm-hmm.
Came out whenever it came out. I can't remember now.
I want to say February. Is it as far back as that?
We should have done some research on this. It came out earlier than the middle of the year. Anyway, and it came
2nd of February.
Right, it came very much out of the blue. You know, there was a bit of, and I think you'd mentioned it to me first, which you tend to always do. There's a new game coming out, and I bought it straight away. You had it, and it's worth spending a couple of minutes just saying how good it is over and over again. So just for the next few minutes, it is really good. It is really good. It's okay. I'm not going to do that. There's been a lot of complaints about it because of the graphical design of it, the fact that it looks like an old PC game or an old PlayStation game. But it, obviously, if you were to take a freeze frame of it, then yeah, fine, it looks like a PlayStation 1 game or a PlayStation 2 game. But to play that game, it is fluid, and you instantly look past the way a lot of it looks. You might look at a tree and go, "Oh, I can see squares and pixels." They're not pixels, clearly, because they're a lot bigger than pixels. But it's just the way it is. Just the way it looks. It's the design that they've chosen for that game, and it is absolutely beautiful. Whether you're a younger player that's playing it and enjoying it, or you're an older gamer, and just kind of thinking, "Oh, it feels familiar in a way because of that design." And then, so you're a Viking that is in this weird, what do they call it?
Like a purgatory sort of. Well, in Valheim,
it's not. You've not got to Valheim yet, have you?
No.
Because Valheim is their like heaven.
In fact, that's
not
Valhalla.
Got there yet.
Valhalla's their
heaven. Sorry, that's
Valheim's like their purgatory.
I know I should have read it. I know I should have refreshed my brain. So, but yeah, sorry. Valhalla is the place they're trying to get to, but they have to prove themselves here in order to do so by defeating all the bosses, don't they?
Yeah.
Idiot. Someone's going to be shaking their head at me. It's fine. Carry on. So you start with nothing. You grab some sticks and stones. You make some basic weapons. You slowly progress. You've got a little crow that talks to you. Gives you loads of tips. He eventually becomes annoying. You just maybe end up hitting him, and you end up with a hot tub. You know, that's what it's all about. Getting that hot tub and a big bench full of gold. And one of my favourite bits is actually making a kitchen and having all those interesting food items. Yeah. But then, of course, it's not just about building the base. You have to explore. So you start off in this this lush meadow. You go to the Black Forest, which suddenly becomes intensely scary when a blue troll is charging at you. I mean, if you don't know how to block and you haven't got a bow and arrow, you're in trouble, 100% in trouble. Unless you can sneak up and stab him, which does quite a lot of damage, doesn't it? And then so do you then progress to the mountain, or do you progress to the swamp after the Black Forest?
Swamp, then mountain.
Swamp, mountain, and then from there you end up in the, what do they call that area again? The plains. The plains is I love the plains. I think it's very, very relaxing as an area until I can't remember what they call it, but that woolly mammoth comes charging at you and stomps the ground and destroys your very soul. But the worst thing about the plains is, of course, the little mosquito. What do they call them?
Like death skeeto or murder skeeto or something.
Skeeto, yeah, shit skeetos. Yeah. Where they're just like, ugh, and then they kill you with, they're like a one-hit kill, aren't they? Yeah. If you haven't got any armor on you, they're a one-hit kill. So we came across the plains quite early, didn't we? You remember when we went for a stroll and we were like, "Ooh, this is interesting." Both dead. Yeah. It's like a really fun. And then the bosses are also very good to fight. Quite enjoy. The first one is very easy to kill. Actually, you can kill that one quite quickly. Yeah. In which you need to get the components for the next area, don't you? So you can do mining and that. The building is a massive part of that game. I think you enjoy the building probably more than I do. But yeah, I don't know what the end game situation is with that. In fact, there's two areas they've still not been developed enough, have they, to be fully explorable? But you've got that one area with the spiders. I should have researched the names.
Like Mistlands or something, I think.
It is the Mistlands, and then you've got it's either. Is there one on the north and the south of the map? I can't remember if there's one up and one down.
There's like Ashlands, and then there's like there's another one. There's like a snow one, isn't there?
There's that. I can't remember what they call it now, but it's basically like the Arctic, and it's a massive frozen area and some. I mean, so basically, this game has still more content to come that they're working on. They did a little update, didn't they? But it was a bit lackluster. It was just a few bits of furniture and some food, and I think they broke a weapon or something. But I love the weapons as well in this game. You know, whether it's that you end up kind of using the silver sword quite a lot because it's very good. Because the black metal stuff maybe isn't as good as. But then there's like special weapons you can create. The special like Mjolnir type of hammer. You can create special axes. Special swords that you can create. It's brilliant. It's just a brilliant game. Yeah. It's brilliant, and I've had probably a couple of 100 hours in that. Easily over 100 hours in it. It's just so much fun, and the fact that you can happily play that game on your own, or you can play with other people. I like the fact that you can build a boat. Didn't we struggle for like hours to figure out how to actually sail? Yeah. But then we were realising we're like, oh yeah. We're idiots. And then the sailing became quite fun. Yeah. Although I think the worst bit we had, which was also memorable, was when we died in that swamp and we had to keep making crappy boats to go over there to try and get our stuff back. You remember that was terrible. Yeah. But also fun and memorable in the same. I don't know. It was like a plane crash. Sort of terrible but interesting to watch. And just be part of, like, I don't know what was going off there, but we eventually got it figured out, didn't we? Any thoughts on Valheim from yourself?
I'm trying to think of another game where, because I know you do the same. We try and get value for money out of a game, and if we get under £1 an hour, that's what we aim for. Then that we would think that we got as money's worth. And now this game, I can't remember, 15 or 20 quid that we paid for it.
I want to say 20.
And for the amount of hours we have done, it's churning out at like 20p an hour or 2p an hour or something.
At this point, it's a free game.
Yeah, but basically. Yeah. And for the sake of 15, 20 quid, it's probably been on sale by now as well. Go out and buy it, because even if you only get 10 hours out of that game, I think it's too addictive to get only 10 hours out of. You will love it.
If you get on with that first hour of that game and you enjoy your progression within that hour, you will easily get 20 hours. Yeah. And at that point, you'll be invested to the point where it will drag you on to and then you'll be bringing your friends in to play. I think, but I do know someone that's played the first for a little bit and didn't get on with it, which was Brad. and I'm very surprised about that because he has an interest in that kind of Viking culture, and I'm quite surprised he didn't play more of it. Maybe he's just not. Maybe he was doing something else that took him away. But it is a fun game.
Yeah, I mean, we got loads of hours out of it, and just thinking back, I'm sure we got to like 40 or 50 hours, and we'd barely even just started. We'd not even like built a base, or I think we'd only killed first boss or something like that. And it's like most games aren't even that long, and that are like 50, 60 quid. So we literally can't recommend it enough.
It's a 10 out of 10.
Easily a 10 out of 10. I mean,
also, it wasn't broken, which is the main point. Because it wasn't broken. That game worked.
Yeah. I mean, you had. I think there were some stuttering issues that people with certain graphics cards had, or something. That's basically it. There were no stupid bugs, no game breaking stuff. We played it flawlessly. I mean, I think we had the only issue I can think that we had was some like desync issues with a server because the servers.
Yeah, so the communications was down, but I can't consider that to be it broken.
No, that's I think that was more to do with the fact that the game came out as like a small indie game with like 5 people or 4 people or something, and it sold like 1 million copies in a week. And so it
was the best. It was the biggest selling game on Steam, and also it was I believe the most played at some point as well. I think it broke a few records as well.
And
so
obviously they weren't expecting it, and servers couldn't handle it. I mean that's the sort of problems you think a game developer would want rather than game breaking bugs. There's just too many people wanting to play it. I think that 100%. That would only issue. I literally can't recommend that game enough. I implore everyone to go out and buy it now.
Valheim. I think between me and you, we could probably say that would be game of the year as a joint decision. Yeah. But then you personally, you've enjoyed your Dark Souls, which is equally valid. Mm-hmm. Just to going off that, New World broken as fuck right at the start with servers. You couldn't get on to play that game. You'd even have to wait for an hour. Also, I believe if you had a certain graphics card, like a 30-something, the game would
39
PC and all sorts. It's like, what? I mean, whatever. Sort your shit out. That's Amazon as well, one of the biggest companies on this planet. That should have been sorted. On to films. I'm going to mention I'm going to mention a list of films. Then you can tell me about yours, and then I'll tell you which is my personal favourite. I've enjoyed Dune, which was, of course, coming from the book. It came out. Did you see the new Dune film?
No, I recently watched the old one.
The old one is, I'm going to say, it ages very poorly.
I didn't know what was going on. It was the most confusing film I've ever watched in my life. It don't make any sense.
Okay, so when Dune first came out at the cinema, they gave you a guide to what everything was. Now, to me, no, don't do that. Just make it a 2-parter. Do you know what I mean? Introduce people and then get on with it. Which a lot of you watch the first Star Wars. There's a lot going off, but you kind of can figure it out a little bit. The Force, what's going off, and then it just gets more and more complicated. But Dune, the film that came out was. I don't want to say it's a remake of the first one. I just want to say that it's a film from a book.
It's the retelling of the book. Yeah.
It's the retelling of the story, and it is very good. There are some parts of it which I didn't like. If you heard of the actress Zendaya, which is in she's in the Spider-Man films. Yeah, her in it was kind of odd because you saw her every now and again. It's like, oh, she's important, but it didn't really make a lot of sense. But as far as I'm aware, it will make more sense in the next film that comes out. Very good film, great cast. In fact, amazing cast. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Can't recommend it enough. The James Bond film, No Time to Die. Have you seen the new James Bond film?
Nope.
Very good.
I stayed away from that one.
Very good film. There was a lot of people moaning, saying it was going to be like James Bond's not going to be masculine. They're going to turn it. It's going to be something different. There's going to be a new female Bond. They're going to be messing around with it. Ignore it. Great film. Great. In fact, really good ending. It was a film that I had low expectations going in. Thoroughly enjoyed it to the end. That could have easily been for me one of my favourite films I've watched this year. Finch with Tom Hanks, that was on, I believe, Apple TV. Did you see Finch?
No, because it's on Apple TV.
I've watched a lot more films than you, I think, out of this list, so I do apologise. Finch, very good. Tom Hanks. I didn't like the ending; could have been better, but the film as a whole, very good. There was a big catastrophe. He's trying to survive, and he has this like robot that he builds, and it's very good little adventure that they go on. The ending for me, I wanted it to be slightly happier, but only slightly. I think, for me personally, it was fine. I get what they did, but it would have been improved if it was slightly better. Shang-Chi, which was the Marvel film with the, I believe he's the Chinese kind of hero of this film, and it was the 10 Rings, I believe it was. Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings, it was 10 Rings. Probably another, might have been 12, I don't know. Very good film. Equally as good, in my opinion, as Black Panther. Might have even enjoyed it a bit more because I do like a lot of martial arts kind of films. I really felt quite enjoyed myself watching that. Good ending. Godzilla vs Kong came out this year. If you've seen one of these, feel free to mention it. Godzilla vs Kong came out. The classic Godzilla vs Kong battles in that, but also they kind of went underground. There was this like interesting environment. Good film. I definitely want to watch it again. Did you remember the original Mortal Kombat film that came out in the 90s?
Vaguely.
Oh, good lord. Brilliant. Probably, arguably, other than Tomb Raider, I would say arguably one of the best game to cinema sort of like conversions. Amazing film. Kind of crap, but brilliant as well. The other Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which came afterwards, I think that's laughable when you can ignore it. So they redid Mortal Kombat this year, and it was very good. The only thing I didn't like was the main character, which was this non-Mortal Kombat character that they kind of brought in. I'm like, did they need that? I don't think they did. They could have based it around Scorpion, who was for me, he should have been the main character and not this other dude. If you haven't seen it, it's still worth watching. Go for it. Great action, great characters in there. So we have Spider-Man No Way Home. That was a very good film. It's I think it's done the best at the cinema since the pandemic started, I believe. Done very well rating wise, IMDb. Fantastic Spider-Man film. Watch it. I'm just going to go straight on to my film of the year. I thought, you just do yours after. You might not like this one, but I'm just in a flow. I'm just going to go for it. My film for this year, you might argue with me and say it didn't come out this year, but it kind of did. So the Justice League film didn't come out this year, but Zack Snyder's cut of the Justice League, which was ridiculously long. It was like 3.5 hours long. It was a 4:3 format. So if you've got a big widescreen TV, you would have black bars down the sides. It added so much more content, extra story stuff. They even changed some of the outfits, because a lot of the outfits would have been CGI, so they just changed them. And I enjoyed it so much. To be able to sit down and watch a film that was that long and enjoy it, that would be my pick. And I'm only saying it for this year because it was a very big cut that came out, and it in essence made it in some ways like a new film. If you watched the other Justice League and you enjoyed it, or you didn't, and even if you didn't enjoy it, watch this one, because it is that plus another film kind of mixed into it to create an absolutely amazing experience. So Karina watched it with me as well. It was just like, how long is this film? I'm like, it's really long. And but it's one of those films, it's so long that you had to pick a time. You'd be like, right, we need to watch it we need to put it on at 6 because it's going to finish after 9 o'clock. I think we'd watched half and then like I don't know, stretched our legs and then watched the rest of it. Solid film, absolutely fantastic. But that Dune and like I say, No Time to Die would be as a 3. I think those, but Justice League, fantastic. Go for it.
Right, I spent like too long looking at what came out this year, trying to find something that I'd watched that I liked, and I boiled it down to one, and
just one film, Nathan.
Just one, and I just like it more than the others because everything else. Looking back, for me to want to actually watch a film, it needs to be a bit of something special. And this year, it felt extremely watered down. It felt like there were an abundance of like Marvel films, but like the B-side Marvel films, not the good Marvel films. Like
I get you.
Yeah, like we had that. What's it called? Black Widow. That film I watched.
Yeah, I that was a little bit of a letdown for me. I enjoyed it, but I don't really want to watch it again.
Yeah,
I'm not bothered about it.
We put it on, and I thought it was terrible, so we turned it off. There were nothing that grabbed my attention that I wanted to watch this year. I know Matrix 4 came out, and I used to love Matrix, and a lot.
Oh shit! I forgot about it. We spoke about this, haven't we? Did we, me and you speak about this? I actually, it's a bit of a that's a. Oh no! Carry on talking. Carry on.
It's a film that I would have wanted to watch, but I keep finding myself for the films that pique my interest ever so slightly. I chalk it up now to rather than go to the cinema or specifically look for them. If it's on a streaming service I've got, I'll watch it, and if not, I've not been bothered about them. If Matrix comes to Netflix or one of the others, I will definitely watch it. But I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it. Same with that Ghostbusters Afterlife. It just didn't grab me.
Oh my god! Do you know what? Right.
Too much waffle. That's what it was.
Sorry. Right. Have you seen Ghostbusters Afterlife?
No, I don't. I'm not gonna.
Right. So I just need to right, okay. I need to just throw it back into my list of films, and I'm annoyed I forgot it because I went to the cinema to watch this film, and I just want to say,
just shows how good it is if you forgot it.
My memory's terrible for stuff like this, and I've been through a list of films trying to remember. There was a few I remembered watching, Dune, Shang-Chi, but then I was like, what else came out this year? Because obviously with coronavirus, the last 2 years have been a weird roller coaster of back in timeness and not knowing what's happening. And did we actually have a July? It's kind of weird. But Ghostbusters Afterlife was amazing, a very good film. And if you detested the 2016 Ghostbusters as much as a normal human being would do, then I suggest you go and watch it because it's nothing like it. It is a brilliant continuation of the Ghostbusters films. They did it so much justice that, that's up there with Justice League for me as a favourite film from last year. Go and watch it, and I'm very pissed off myself that I forgot about it because I racked my brain trying to remember what films I'd seen, which is difficult because I do watch a lot of films. So, but yeah, carry on. I apologise. Carry on.
I follow a lot of like film groups on social media and Reddit and stuff like that. Nothing at all has anybody mentioned Ghostbusters Afterlife after the fact, other than when it came out. So you're like, it's not. I didn't watch the trailers, which I don't usually watch trailers for films, and nothing this year's piqued my interest. Probably the only one which I hadn't seen, so I'm not putting it on my list, I would want to watch is the new Spider-Man because I've always loved Spider-Man, and I know that some other Spider-Mans might be about, so I'm not spoiling it for anyone. But
Spider-Man,
yeah, Spider-Mans. I can't remember if the Spider-Verse one came out, but that's this year. I don't think it did.
It wasn't this year. That was the other year,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah. And I think they're making a sequel to that, but that's not till next year anyway. But that were I like Spider-Man films. But the film I picked last year when we did this roundup was a Disney Pixar film called Outward. You can go back and watch the episode if you want. and we talked about Soul Summit. I can't remember what it's called. That one came out over Christmas.
Well, that was with the black guy who was a singer, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Was
he died, and he wanted to come back. And I found myself this year, out of all the films that came out, drawn to a Disney Pixar film, and that's probably because we've got Disney Plus, and this one came out on Disney Plus, and I watched it with kids and we loved it, and it's called Luca, and it's not a traditional Disney film in where the prince finds the princess or whatever. This one's more about
Onward. Sorry, you said outward. Onward.
Oh, is it Onward?
Onward?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
sorry,
that's a good one. But this one, it's for this year, it's going to be Luca, which is it's about friendship. I think there's supposed to be like slight gay undertones to this friendship, but because it's Disney, they don't really touch on it. But it's becoming more like inclusive, and it don't make a big deal of it. It's more like friendship, and it's basically a sea monster. Now I'm just going to make it sound weird. It's a sea monster that when he goes onto land, he can turn into like a human boy. And there's two sea monsters. There's Luca and his best friend, who he meets, and the whole film is them wanting to buy a Vespa, which I'd love a Vespa myself. But they want this Vespa, and it's all about them finding a way, making friends.
So they can turn into a fish, swim in the ocean, breathe underwater, do what they want, but they want a Vespa.
Yeah, because that's where it's at. Especially if it was just a boring fish, who wouldn't want a Vespa? I mean, I can drive a car and I want a Vespa, so I would love a Vespa, and so would Luca. So it hit two things I like, which is good animation, and the animation is spot on for this. A good story, which the story's good, and Vespas, which I also love. So and kids loved watching it with me. I mean, we watched that Encino or Encanto. I can't remember what it's called. That new Disney release.
Encanto's a new one, isn't it?
Yeah, I fell asleep. I thought it was atrociously bad, that film. Kids seemed to love it. They said it had good songs in it. I can't remember any of the songs. When they were singing, I felt as though they weren't memorable at all. But
they're not, are they?
No.
They're not. I mean, when what was the last memorable Disney? It might have been the one from Moana, maybe. There was a half decent one in that.
Coco is one I always think of. That Remember Me. Everyone always remembers that one. But it's gone to for the second year running. It's gone to a Disney Pixar film because I don't know if it's because of the pandemic and people aren't making films. There is a couple of films. Licorice Pizza that I would quite like to watch, which I haven't watched yet.
Sorry, what?
Licorice Pizza, bit of a small indie film, and I have got. I'll save it for later. I've got some films that I would like to watch. Well, one film because I think next year and all it's a bit muddied in the waters of MCU stuff again, and so on. But that for me, it would be Luca. So I think. If we talk about as TV now, so we've got the best TV of this year. There has been some good TV. I've only written one thing down because I've written the best thing I've watched, but we have watched loads. Like there was, I know Cobra Kai's, if anybody who likes it, is just started again. We checked beforehand to make sure it is in this year, and the last series was the first.
So I thought it came out last. No, right, okay. So technically, it did come out last year. I mean, I thought it came out in 2020. Yeah. But you were like, no, it came out January 1st, 2021. So, yeah. But, I mean, and also I probably would have watched it in one day.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's been out now, I think 2 or 3 days, this series 4. I'd heard some bad things about it first from like IGN and other media outlets that said it's the weakest of the series, but it's okay. It's got some low points, and I think we're like 3 or 4 episodes in. I'm loving it so far. I'm enjoying it.
I think every series has low points and high points. It's the way it is. Every season, is going to have an episode which you're like, but it'd be one of those story programs. I'm sorry, it's Cobra Kai. You expect people to be beating the shit out of each other all the time, but there's going to be those points where it's like a bit low, a bit more story building. Yeah. Just take them, don't you? You just take it and you go on to the next one.
I think it's because they've shoehorned in another character to give one of the other characters like more.
They've done that in every season. Yeah. Every season has been here's a new one, and it's always someone from the past or it's someone connected and someone important.
Do you remember Daniel's son, who not really in it much, but he's occasionally been in it? like his daughter's brother, if that makes it easier. He's always had a Game Boy or something in corner.
Oh, the nerd. He's like a bit of he's a chunky nerd.
Yeah,
that one.
He's grown up a little bit. Get ready to see more of him, and that nobody asked for. So he's in this a lot. And remember is it called Billy or whatever? Johnny's son when he went into prison.
He's one of my Johnny's son is one of my favorite characters. To be fair,
do you remember the black dude that he beat up and then became friends with?
Was he a lot bigger than him? Yeah.
Get ready to see more of him as well. So these people are in it, and
it can't just be the two main characters. It has to be others, doesn't it? It's not because that's not just about them, is it? It is about, and let's be honest. What's his name? Ralph Macchio. I can't remember his. He is not. He is He is not a fighter.
Yeah.
The other guy is.
Yeah.
So he trained in martial arts before even the original Karate Kid film, but he's not, and that's still one of my biggest letdowns from watching the Karate Kid and Cobra Kai is the fact that you know that Johnny's going to kick everyone's ass, but
Johnny's easily the best character. I prefer him over Daniel any day.
100%, 100%.
He's more
even when you look back, at the original films,
Yeah.
you realise that he was a kid that was treated wrong. He was a guy that was on the wrong path, and he's a bit detestable, but he's still a very good character. And in this, he's like, everyone knows a Johnny, a guy that's a bit, he's maybe done a few, I don't want to say he's been a bad person, but he's not had the chances that other people have had. But he's still one of your favourite people. Yeah. Everyone knows a person like that. But yeah, he's definitely a Cobra Kai. So Cobra Kai season 4, isn't it? Yeah. That's out now. Definitely one to watch. What else is drew you in?
There was Boba Fett one, which I haven't watched yet, and that is literally only just come out. That's why we're not going to. Neither of us has watched it, I don't think, and we're not going to.
I've left that for the moment.
Yeah, we're going to wait until that piles up and we can watch it. Otherwise, you watch one and you're like, "What? I need to." I
might just watch the whole thing when it's all.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I've done with Mandalorians every time because I just like to watch them all out in one big.
No, I've been watching them when they come out. I enjoyed them so much. I'm like, oh, there's another one. I got to watch it.
And I can't remember if it was this year or not. I don't. Well, Superstore. If you like Superstore, the latest series we mentioned it in another video. The last ever series is on Netflix, and we smashed all Superstores. This year I've smashed Taskmaster. I mentioned this before as well. But my favourite one, I'll start with mine as soon as I'm in the flow, is Midnight Mass. Now, this is on Netflix.
I thought you were going to say something different. Go on.
I'm throwing you a curveball. This is the series. I love horror. Horror's like my thing. So if I can get a series that's got horror in, not Walking Dead.
I haven't finished watching it, by the way.
I'm not. There's no spoilers whatsoever.
I've watched quite a bit of it, and just for my input,
you need to finish it.
I will say it is very good, and I think we ended up watching something else. But the problem is with Netflix, if you miss it, sometimes it disappears off your list, and you just forget about it, don't you? But Midnight Mass are very good. And carry on,
it's director's Mike Flanagan. You probably know him from like Hush and Haunting a Blind Manor and Hill House and loads of other stuff I've just dropped out of my brain now.
Did he do Hill House?
Yeah. He's done his wife, which is I've wrote a name down because I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Katie Siegel. Is the woman from Hush and also every other thing that is directed. So
that's the way you keep the money coming in, isn't it?
So he gets to write off a little bit of tax her way and then he gets the money back. But that's his wife and she's in it. And it's got that exact same vibe. Oh, Gerald's Game's another one. And there was another film. I can't remember what it is anyway. But it's got that same like creepy, weird vibe. And he's very good at like hiding things in plain sight and doing twists that take 3 episodes to get the twist completely twisted, and I like that drawn outness. And he uses the same characters. I mean, he loves I can't remember the actor's name, but he played Elliot in E.T. The kid. He's in nearly every one of his productions somewhere. He's a big part of this one, and
he gives him a yearly wage.
Yeah. He's keeping him in business.
50 grand, kid. Get you going.
I won't do any spoilers because it can be easily spoiled. This series. Don't Google it. Just go on Netflix and watch it because it'll hit you more. But it's basically a lad that goes home to an island where he grew up, to stay with his mum and dad because he'd been in prison from. He had like a drink driving accident, or well, I say accident. He's drink driving and he's killed someone, and he went to prison for it. And it's him readjusting to life on this island. And there's a big like Christian community, and that's why Midnight Mass. That's as much as I'm going to tell you on it because I don't want to spoil anything else.
But it does gear a lot around the church, doesn't it? And the vicar. Do we call him a vicar? What do they call him?
A pastor or
what are they? Pastor.
Padre?
Fuck knows. We don't do religion, do we? So
he's
the
boss,
the head honcho in the church.
Yeah, he's the boss of the church. It's all around him and this other lad, is the director's wife. She's one of the main characters as well. I can't even tell you what it's like.
No, I think you're stuck now.
Yeah, there's not because it's comparatively. There's other films and other works of fiction that are very similar to this. But if I tell you what they are, it will give the game away. So just watch it and what you'll be watching before I spoil this.
Yeah, so my favourite one. I have struggled with a favourite for this one, but I'll tell you one that I've kind of enjoyed a lot of, and I guess that classes as your favourite, doesn't it? That's just a weird me. That's just my brain not even working properly. I've enjoyed watching. So I didn't watch all of this. I watched like the beginning. I missed a few episodes in the middle, but then I watched the end. Squid Game, which of course was a bit of a was a massive TV hit this year. It was the Korean show based on this real life game that happened where people died.
See, I thought you were going to mention this. This is why I mentioned this. Or it's twin show.
Real, just loads of fun. Lots of people dying in weird ways. There's that red light, green light, which I think everyone knows now. If you don't know what red light, green light is, I mean, admittedly, you might be a normal person and just never come across it, but it's been on apps, it's been all over YouTube, people have made their own versions of it. So there's like 100 people standing still, and if it's green light, you can walk forward, but then it'll be like, red light, and you have to stop. Now this doll on this camera swivels around and looks at you, and if you're still moving, you basically die. It's as simple as that.
It's basically like like playground games for children.
It's Takashi's Castle, but real. Yeah. It's that kind of hardcore, and it's loads of fun. And you're not quite sure who's gonna come out at the end. Are they gonna kill the person you think is gonna come out, or it's like, ooh, I don't know what's happening. But loads of fun. I know they're doing a new one, Squid Game, Korean show, Squid Game, and there's a bit of a story behind it, and you learn who runs it all, and it's good. It's good. I don't know if I'd have watched it if Holly hadn't have been watching it.
Have you watched the other one, the other Korean show, the Hellbound or whatever it's called?
No, I haven't. No.
I'd suggest watching that. It's good. It's a bit like an anime, to be honest. It's live action, but it's not as good as Squid Game. It's all right.
Okay. Have you watched Squid Game?
Yeah, not all in it. So don't spoil the ending.
No, I won't. It's worth watching. Though. It's worth. I very much enjoyed watching Foundation, which is based on the Isaac Asimov novels. Very. He had Lee Pace in it. He's a great actor. You know who Lee Pace is
from Hale and Pace, the comedy duo from
of course, from 80s Hale and Pace. Yes. Yeah. If you're not from the UK, you'll no idea what we're on about. Lee Pace, who's been in quite a few things, including he played one of the elves he wasn't in Lord of the Rings, in The Hobbit. Do you remember who I'm on about?
Is it
really tall,
on a horse
really
all
tall
the time in The Hobbit?
He was on the horse, when there was at that mine, he was on the horse looking all poncy and I'm an elf. It was that kind of, he comes across a bit like, but fantastic actor. I can't remember what else he's been in.
I'm trying to think. He's got he's been in loads of stuff. I know that. I just can't pin him down.
Oh, he was in Guardians of the Galaxy. He played the Ronan the Accuser. Yeah. He played with. He was like bluish purple. Yeah. He's been in lots of stuff. But he was born in 1979. Good year that. Definitely a good year if you're old. Films he's been in. Let's have a quick look. Is anything that we know? He was in Twilight, Hobbit, Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain Marvel. Oh, because Ronan the Accuser was in Captain Marvel as well. It's just been in various stuff over the years. Nothing like, not like main part, not for him as a main part, but he's took part in a lot of, like I say, in a lot of films. But he played the role very well. Foundation is basically set at a time where the Foundation is like a government which controls the galactic empire, sort of thing. It just controls everything. It's like the Conservatives, basically. They just run everything without you even knowing about it. He plays Brother Day. There's like it's a genetic dynasty. So the original founder of the Foundation was like, I'm perfect. So he then took his genetic code and created. So his successor would be basically him, genetically him, and he brought him up to be just like him. But sort of, so there's Brother Day, Brother Night. They're just clones of each other. So there's Dusk is the one that's kind of older. They still have but they don't control the Foundation. It's the one that's in the prime, sort of between a kind of like sort of 25, 30 to kind of like 50 or so. They control it all, but then the older one gives advice and the younger one's being brought up. So it's this weird, you understand what I mean? It's like having your granddad, yourself and your kid, you're the boss. But when you get older, your children then start to control and look after you a bit more. And so it's very good. There's a lot going off in it. So it's not just about them, it's about this prediction, it's about this maths problem that gets solved. It is all over the place, but it's such a fun series to watch. And there's the odd episode which is a slow burn, but I was looking forward to it, and it didn't let me down as a TV show. I very much enjoyed it. Jupiter's Legacy, which came out earlier on in the year, which is like that superhero film that was on Netflix. That's TV show on Netflix. Did you see that?
No.
You remember, what is he called? The Boys. Sort of similar to The Boys, but for Jupiter's Legacy, although it was really good, that's been cancelled by Netflix already. Cheers, Netflix. When I say cheers, Netflix, I mean fuck you, because stop cancelling shit.
Cowboy
People do
Bebop
watch
cancelled that, like literally straight away.
Yes, I know. Yeah, that was. I watched like 2 episodes, quite enjoyed it. Cancelled. But for me, the one that I had the most fun with would have been Loki. Did you watch Loki?
I did. I enjoyed that. Yep. That one of the more favourable series.
Loads of fun. Great comedy, but serious. Interesting the way that they integrated it into that Marvel kind of world. Fun show. Great main actor whose name's just fell out of my head, even though you're going to tell it me and I'll go, oh yeah, that's him.
Oh yeah, of course I forgot his name as well.
I know, what is it? I just forgot his name.
Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston. We both got those. Tom Hiddleston's a fantastic actor, and he does Loki so well because he's got a good face. He's got that slight, I don't know, he's got a slight point to his face, so he has that kind of like that Green Goblin sort of evilness to him, but at the same time, great smile, sparkly eyes, and I think he portrays that cheekiness. It comes across really well. Great show. I think Loki was the one for me. For me this year. I'm looking forward to a new one whenever it comes out. If it comes out, maybe next year, hopefully. Letdowns, I think, is our next. Is that our last one? Biggest letdown. I'll just say them. I'll just go for it. Star Trek as a TV show, still a letdown for me. Hate the main actress. The show, the first episode, they destroyed. I don't care if there's a spoiler. Sorry, they destroyed a planet of a favourite character of mine in the show. And I'm just like, great, there's a favourite character. Let's make him miserable. Brilliant. Thanks a lot. They didn't have to do it. And they've got this. It's like they haven't done much with the story. They've just got a new ominous danger that's come in. Oh, here's something new and dangerous. It's like, it feels like that Star Trek story beat, which is coming again. Not very original, and to be honest with you, I haven't watched the last few episodes, which isn't like me when it comes to Star Trek, because I like watching it all. And I don't know. I just feel like, I'm not done with it. I will watch the episodes, but emotionally, I'm not involved with it anymore. I feel done with it, but I'll still watch them. Does that make any sense? Yeah, I'll have to watch it because it's Star Trek, but at the same time, I just hate a lot of the characters in it. I just hate it. So that's my TV show that kind of let me down. Game-wise, Elite Odyssey, we both kind of agree with this a little bit, unless you've got anything else. But we didn't even necessarily need space legs, but they brought them in. But they brought them in sort of broken. Very stressful on PCs, which your PC could run Elite very well, but then it's like, here's space legs, now it can't. It wasn't, clearly it wasn't optimized very well, because there's plenty of games where I walk around and it's fine. I would have liked interiors of ships as well to come in, so hopefully they'll bring that in. New SRV, there is a new SRV now, isn't there?
Scorpion or something. I haven't even looked into it. I just saw it flash up on Steam. I don't want to say that I'm done with Elite, but I feel very close to being done with Elite. I definitely need to do a bit more Odyssey, but I just feel overall a little bit disappointed, and I just feel a bit let down by it. It's we played it when it came out, and nothing drew me back. Like, you think a whole new aspect of gameplay would be really good, and it was like, oh well, this is just very generic and very boring, and I'm not bothered. I want to see what this inside of a cutter looks like more than I want to walk around on a ball of dust. I'm not that bothered.
I want to walk around a little Sidewinder and just be like, ooh, what little compartment? How have they fit it all together? You know, I'm really looking forward to that. As for a cutter or some of the bigger ships, it's literally going to be, here's a very small bit, and then the rest is going to be like blocked off because it's going to be a massive engine and it's going to be cargo space. So you're not going to see a lot of that anyway. You might be able to peer into it and it'll just be like this lit up warehouse. But the rest of it will obviously be these little rooms. I mean, just get it done, you know. And it's clearly an engine that can't do it, or they would have been able. I think they would have been able to do it. I mean, it must be.
I paid 30. I think it's 30 quid that I paid for that.
It must be about 30.
I probably got 3 hours out of that at most. So a
same
an hour.
Same here.
And that's the biggest waste of money I've spent this year. And I bought some,
gaming wise,
I've spent loads of. I've wasted money on loads of stuff, but that's what I feel in my pocket the most is Odyssey.
Yep. Hopefully it redeems itself at some point, and we'll get in and get some more hours in it. But sorry, Elite, sort of shit out. Film wise, one you mentioned earlier that I totally forgot, Matrix. They didn't need a new Matrix. They should have just ended. To be fair, they should have ended it on the first film, because I thought the first film was fucking brilliant, and they could have just left it at that. It was a genuinely amazing film. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Could have just left it at that. As a new Matrix, if they'd have done one, maybe they could have done something without Neo in it and Trinity. Maybe they could have done something slightly different, like they did with Star Wars. Some of the Star Wars films, they didn't. It wasn't like the newer Star Wars films was focused on other aspects, and it wasn't all about Luke. So what I'm saying, they could have had the Matrix is something that is all over the planet. However, we seem to be focused in just this bit of New York. As most films are, aren't they? Always New York, great. We've seen it. We've seen New York now. We can go somewhere else. I enjoyed watching it because there's a lot of really cool new special effects. But I think they just shouldn't have bothered. I gave it like a 6 out of 10 or something. Then I remember I put it on Facebook. I was like, you can have a 6 out of 10. And then there's other people trying to defend it, going, "Oh, it's really good." I was like, I don't think it is. I think you're kidding yourself here. You're genuinely kidding yourself. I think there was a lot about it which was crap and weird. But there was also lots of points which was like, oh, that's enjoyable. I enjoyed that scene. But I just think overall they shouldn't have bothered. Should have just left it. Star Trek, TV, Elite Odyssey, Matrix, anything that's let you down this year.
Yeah, I only wrote one down. I knew we were going to say Odyssey. I only wrote one down because I was looking forward to it. And it's not... It came out this year, but it wasn't supposed to come out this year. It was supposed to come out last year, or the year before last, 2019. And it's Free Guy, and I was so looking forward to this film. It's not very rare I look forward to a film.
You mentioned it a few times to me. I remember.
I wanted to watch this film so bad because it kept getting cancelled and stuff. And I like Ryan Reynolds. I like his quick wit and his style of comedy. I love Deadpool and all that. And yeah, one of them. And it goes. It's like
that's a magnifying glass. What is happening there? Sorry if you're not watching the video. That is so cool. Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
So anyway, Free Guy. It's my two of my loves, which is good comedy, good quick-witted comedy, and games.
And Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, sorry, I thought it's like
seemed like a match made in heaven. And I watched the film after being delayed, and I finally got around to watching it, and I enjoyed the first third. I thought it was good. It was executed well. I'm not a big fan of, I can't remember her name, Kelly Coleman or whatever she's called from Killing Eve. I'm not the biggest fan of her. She's in it for some reason. I don't know why. And the last third of the film I think it's terrible. The middle third's very slow, and overall I was just let down by that film. It gets boring. It's boring, and it shouldn't be boring, and it is boring. And the comedy's a bit lackluster. The acting's not that good. The special effects are alright, but it's just I can't recommend it, and that's why it's my biggest letdown, because it let me down for something that I was actually looking forward to.
Jodie Comer. Jodie Comer.
That's it.
Yeah, Jodie Comer.
Yeah, I'm not a right big fan of her. She's all right, but she's not good enough to be in a film with Ryan Reynolds, I don't think.
Interesting choice. I was looking forward to watching it because you were looking forward to watching it.
Did you end up watching it?
Which is half. Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, and it's like I enjoyed it, but I won't watch it again.
Yeah. I'll never watch it again because it let me down. But if I would have watched the first third or half, I would have been like, oh, I want to finish this. But no.
I enjoyed a lot of the references. The comedy was okay. The action was okay. As an overall, I enjoyed it. I think I wasn't as hyped for it as you were.
I set the standards too high for it beforehand.
I think you did. I think if you just said, oh, that looks good.
Yeah.
I'll watch that when it comes out. You would have been like, oh, I enjoy it. I think you would have enjoyed it a lot more. But because you were like, oh my God, Ryan Reynolds. And I think it just was like, you were like, oh, yeah, definitely. It was fine. Like if you like games and Ryan Reynolds and comedy, watch it by all means. But don't expect it to be as good as what Nathan did, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. So what are you looking forward to next year or this year now?
So I totally forgot to look. Didn't I? When you say, I was like, "Oh shit, what's happening in 2022?" Yeah. I totally forgot. So I had a very quick look to see what was coming out. Because off the top of my head, I can't really think of anything, to be honest. But I have the new Batman film with
Robert Pattinson.
Got that vampire into it. Yeah. Hopefully he's not sparkly, which is a ridiculous joke that people say all the time. Because I didn't even mind the Twilight films that much. Actually, I thought they were. I know that they were what they were, and
just discredit everything you said from now on.
I didn't hate them. I get the hate, but I just watched them and I've never watched them again. It's fine. But I think the new Batman film looks really good. I think Robert Pattinson, to be honest, I think he'll make a good Batman. I've no issues with it at all. I think he'll make us. I don't know if they're going to have a better Superman than Henry Cavill. I think he's the best Superman there's ever been. But as for Batman, they keep changing him, and each one for me has been okay. And this one is just another one that's come along, and I'm quite looking forward to it. The action's supposed to be really good. It's supposed to be quite gritty. It's got Catwoman in it. I'm just looking forward to it in general. Secrets of Dumbledore, big Harry Potter fan. Not as big as my wife. If my wife was a 10, I'd be like a 1, and I'm quite a big fan of Harry Potter. And she's like a crazy fan. Quite enjoyed the new Harry Potter universe films that have been coming out, and Dumbledore, of course, is one of the best characters in Harry Potter, and I'm quite looking forward to this new film. I'm just throwing out these quickly, getting them out of the way. Sonic 2, I quite enjoyed the Sonic. Did you see the Sonic film?
No.
Oh, it was a good film. I think they did Sonic a fairly decent justice. I quite enjoyed. I'm a big Sonic fan, as you know, and I was really hoping it wasn't crap, and it wasn't crap. So I'm looking forward to Sonic 2, which has Knuckles in it, and as you reminded me earlier, Idris Elba is the voice of Knuckles, and I think that'll fit him because he's a bit rough and gruff, and I think it'll come across quite well. Games wise, Not a lot other than Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, because we are big Borderlands fans, so I'm quite looking forward to seeing what happens with that. Passing on to you.
Right, I'll get this one out of the way because I could talk about it all day. It is Elden Ring, which comes out on It's been delayed.
What's that? Tell me about that.
It's only the best game ever.
No. It's a game.
It's a game. It's coming out for PC,
Souls-like.
PS5.
Souls-like. Is it a Souls-like?
It's made from Software, which is the Dark Souls creators, Bloodborne and Sekiro, and it's an open world one, which is the first go, and you get a horse that looks like Yakul from Mononoke, for anyone that knows what that is. And I didn't get in on any of the tests because I purposely didn't try to. Not only is my internet rubbish to download, I wanted to wait until I could actually play the game. I'm actually booking a week off work to play it. But this is not till the 22nd of February. It was supposed to come out on the 22nd of January, I think it were. But it got pushed back a month just so they could work some stuff out, even though I hadn't seen any bugs from what people have played, and I've watched a lot of stuff. I've been doing Ben's Ended at work about it, always constantly talking about it. So I'll probably disappear for a week when that comes out because it just looks so good. My next game, because I've got 2 games and a film, my next game is, it only got, there's a speculated release date for it, and people's been wondering about this game for years, and it came out the other day. I think it was on like a French Amazon site or something like that. I had the release date like shown for a little bit, and I think they've confirmed that is the release date now, which is March the 8th, and it's Hogwarts Legacy. It's the right good looking, because it looks gorgeous, Harry Potter game, and people's been asking for this since like 2001, and they finally done it. And you make your own student, and you set off into your Hogwarts career. You get sorted into a house, and you go to your lessons, and you uncover mysteries and all sorts of stuff. And it's set 100 years before, so it's like the 1890s. So it's got a Victorian vibe to it as well. So that's just going to be perfect, and that should be March the 8th, which has made me a little bit mad because it sort of overlaps with Elden Ring a little bit for me. I would have preferred Hogwarts Legacy either now or a bit later, but we'll just wait, because
it's tough, isn't it?
Yeah,
you're just gonna have to put up with it. Aren't you?
I've beefed for those 2 games. I won't need it as much for Elden Ring because they have a specific graphical style. Hogwarts Legacy, I beefed the PC up specifically for them, so I can watch it. I can play them in 4K, smooth as out, and I'm guessing people that's got the Xbox One or whatever it's called and the PS4 are going to struggle to get that fidelity from that game. I know it is out for them, but PS5 and Scorpio or whatever it's called, the new Xbox
Series X.
I don't know. That was code name when it's Scorpio or some crap like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And it's that, whatever that is, they should handle it pretty well. But I think PCs, you probably get most out of that. And as for films, bit of a curveball because I don't normally like Marvel films, even though it's DC. And I especially don't like the DC films. It's Morbius. Now,
you don't like the DC?
No, they're all terrible.
I'll tell you what, the first 2 Wonder Woman films are very good. The 1984 Wonder Woman film, trash, but the other ones are really good.
I didn't even know there were 3 in them.
Oh my god, is
there? I thought there were only 2, but that's because I don't care about DC. But
maybe I'm mixing up Justice League because obviously she's in them. Yeah. Carry on.
I did like the Venom one, and I know we haven't mentioned it, the Venom Carnage Woody Harrelson thing that's come out recently. I would quite like to watch that, so if that comes on a streaming service, I will watch that. But Morbius, I might actually go to cinema to watch because I love Jared Leto, because I'm a big 30 Seconds to Mars fan for anyone that likes 30 Seconds to Mars, which is probably no one. And the character Morbius, he was my favourite character from the Spider-Man cartoons in the 90s. He's the vampire one, and he's a enemy / helper of Spider-Man. Sometimes he would help him out. Most of the time he'd be sucking people's blood because he's a vampire. I don't know if they're going to do a tie-in with Blade on that one. I've got a feeling they are because they're setting up the Blade film for next year as well. So we'll have to see what happens with them. But Morbius is end of January, so we haven't even got to wait that long, and I might go and watch that. But
there's only 2 Wonder Woman films.
Yeah, that's two.
I got it confused with Justice League because she's in it a lot. So yeah. I mean, she's in more than just. So you got Justice League, Wonder Woman that came out in 2017, 1984, which is 2020, I would recommend not watching that because it's absolute trash. But looking on her IMDb, she's actually in Disney's Snow White, which is in pre-production for 2023. She's playing the evil queen, so that's a bit of a quite looking forward to that one. Now I've seen.
They need to stop with these live action stuff.
Some of them are good and some of them are crap. Just take them as they come.
I liked Aladdin best. I've watched most of them, and I think Aladdin's best.
I haven't seen Aladdin.
That's probably the best one just for songs. There's some. I'm not going to sing it, but I sing it all the time in house to kids.
Under the Sea. Oh no, wait, no, what's that one there? Sorry.
Yeah. I did see the Ariel one. What's it called? Little Mermaid. I saw some shots of. I can't remember the actress's name. She's got an actress. Her name sounds like another person. Halle Berry. It sounds like Halle Berry. Is she called Halle Berry or something? The girl that's going to play Ariel. In the new live action one, I did see.
You mean the race switch?
Yeah,
Ariel.
Yeah.
Which has caused some controversy.
Yeah.
Right, you know what? I'm gonna say rightfully so because, okay, I know what you're thinking. Oh my god, he's such a racist. It's not about that. It's just the fact that we're used to this light-skinned, red-haired Ariel, and they've just changed it. And I felt I don't give that much of a shit. But at the same time, I'm like, couldn't you just leave her be?
Yeah.
Couldn't you just leave it? There's a lot of the black community which don't like it as well because it's like, can't you just give us our own heroes, our own characters? Why are you taking a white character and turning it into a black character? It feels, I can't remember the term for it. I know race switching is one, but a lot of them are just like, we feel like we weren't good enough in the first place, but we can do it now. Yeah. And a lot of them are a bit disgruntled with it. And it's not just a footy or your old white man going, oh, there should be a black Ariel. It's a larger issue and a larger story that there shouldn't be, like say, race switching. Which I don't want them to take. I don't want you to take a black character and turn it into a white person. To keep it as its original source material. You know, or maybe have it so you've got the original white Ariel, but you've got other colour of, a menagerie of different coloured other mermaids. Why not add them in? Create this bigger story. Just don't be switching out. I mean, I'm nothing against the poor young actress that's playing it, but there's a lot of people that are just like, you shouldn't have bothered. But anyway, bigger story and not for today.
That's about it. There's not much else to look forward to in 2022, unfortunately. Hopefully not going to be locked down again, but that's probably going to happen.
No.
We'll see.
But other things to look forward to. I mean, anything going off in your life? What's happening? If personal things.
Yes. If all being well and we're not locked down, I'm going to Germany for a week, where we'll be travelling around Germany, sampling beers from different breweries and taking 1 million photos. I've already scoped out all my photo spots and prepped all stuff ready to go. So I will be.
When's that? When you planning on doing that?
Beginning of June. I'll be off to Bamberg, Frankfurt, Munich.
Bamberg? That's not even a real place.
It's beautiful. It's one of the most.
Did you say Hamburg or Bamberg?
I've been to Hamburg.
Oh, I think the audio came through weird. So
yeah. And there's specific breweries around there. All the local cuisine. It's going to be brilliant, and it's for a stag night as well, that's the one in Munich. I just decided to tag an holiday on beforehand with 2 of my mates, and then we're going to meet up at the end of the week for the stag weekend in Munich. So I shall be there.
You're hoping to brew some beer as well, aren't you? I know.
Yeah, I've decided I'm going to I take my hand at brewing commercially. I've been brewing hobbyist for a while, and in the process of building a brewery at the minute. So I should.
It's going to explode.
Yeah, I just need to get everything sorted, and then I'm going to try and sell it.
Part of Sheffield's going to disappear in a beer explosion. The other half's going to be drunk because it's raining. Yeah. It's raining real ale.
That's what we want. Hopefully, some nice sours. I'm going to have a try at some sours.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds good. I've got some beer to brew. I keep meaning to do it. I just every time I say I'm going to do it, I just end up going, I forgot. But I've definitely got some stuff to do as well. Me personally, it's just for this year's been a bit of a fresh start in terms of Karina started working a lot more. I'm working a lot more. I've just switched jobs, as I mentioned in the last video. So, and that's going really well. Like I say, not waffling about what I'm doing, but I'm looking for some positive career progression this year, and a bit more respect in terms of employers and employment. My new boss is great, nice guy. Everyone I work with is. I haven't come across someone I don't like yet, which is a real. It
can make and break
I don't want to say
a job. I think if you work with idiots or people that you don't like, it makes you not want to go to work, even if it's the best job in the world. But if it's the crappiest job in the world, but you have decent people around you, it makes it a good job. It makes it
even weirdos. Yeah. You know, if you've got some people you work with who are a bit odd or a bit like, oh, I'm not sure, or have got weird character traits, but none of them have here. They all seem normal, and I'm just really pleased at that. Just people are friendly, just helpful. It's weird. It's not. My old job was, don't get me wrong, it was fine, but this one just seems like I'm just happy I made that decision, and it was a tough decision, despite what some people think. It was a tough decision, but this is for me. It was a decision for me and my family, and so far so good, and we'll see where I am at the end of the year. Maybe we'll look back on this video and see if it's see how things have changed. As for that, rest of the year, I think I'm looking forward to getting Paige ready for college. Of course, she's homeschooled, so it's a very different story when it comes to that stuff. So looking forward to getting her integrated back into that kind of.
Can you not home college her?
Of course you can, but the problem is that the more you keep someone away from society, the less they want to be part of society. And part of Paige's future in life, such a grand way of thinking it, is to integrate slightly more with people, more people her own age, because you know, you can have one or two friends and you get on with them really well and everything's fine. But as soon as you start, if you as you're older, if you're exposed to a lot of idiots, you can be very hard to deal with. So I needed to get it back into that as at a younger age and just learn a bit more about people and what's going off, and get her set up and ready for many years to come, which will be it's going to be a challenge, but it's something we are facing head on, and I'm sure everything will be fine with that. Looking forward to it. Looking for always like something to do while I'm doing other stuff, you know. it's always fun. So if that's everything, we're done. Right then, that's it from us. I hope you've enjoyed hearing about the bits of 2021 we've enjoyed. There's been a few bits we quite enjoy talking about. Next episode, we are giving feedback on our past guests' favourite bits of 2021. They're going to let us know any films, any games they've been playing, any letdowns. I 100% predict that Stephen hasn't played any games, and Terry likes some weird Anime 2.99 Steam game and insists on wearing cat ears when he plays it. We love you, Terry. We're only messing about, of course. We would love to hear your favourites in some comments. Hit us up on YouTube or on our Facebook group, and we will see if we can mention you in our next episode. So it's a big goodbye from me. Goodbye.
And a bye-bye from me.
Of course it is. Right, catch you later. Bye. So the questions we have are: best game of 2021, released or just played the most of; the best film 2021, released this year; best TV 2021; the biggest letdown. This can be anything film, game, TV related. Feel free to add anything else. Add these comments if you can, or if you feel like it, to our Facebook or our YouTube channel. Thank you very much.